Hi, I'm Danelle, and today I want to lead you through a tutorial on painting this spring painting that I'm going to be teaching here in town this week. Here's the sketch, and we're just going to use a very simple palette, so hope you enjoy following along. Here I'll show you the colors we're using. This is what we use in class, just a plain paper plate. And the three primary colors, blue, yellow, blue, red, and yellow. And then I just have some white and black. This is far too much black. We will not need that much black. I just accidentally squeezed out. And then this is just a mess because that was the very bottom of my container. And you will also need a cup of water, some paper towels, and your brushes. These are the brushes that I supply everyone in class. It's not quite an inch wide flat, and about a 1/4 inch wide flat, and then a small pointy round one for doing the details. It's not that critical. These are just cheap brushes from Walmart. It's kind of nice to get these kind of soft ones. So that's pretty much all the things you're going to need. Paint, brushes, water, clean up. So before you put your brush into paint, always dip it in your water. That keeps it flowing smoothly, and then dab off the extra. And then we can start putting some paint on the canvas. So we're going to make kind of a sunshine background. Sort of a swirly sunshine background. And then we're going to put in some flowers and then put this big fat bee on one of the flowers. So I'm going to tape this up to the top of my easel so I can see it. So I dipped this in some water, and then we're just going to kind of get the background covered for now. So let's start. I'm going to get some white, just kind of put that in the middle there. Dip in a little bit of yellow. And then we'll want to start here. This is sort of the compositional golden triangle idea. We go up to the upper third over, 1/3 up will be kind of a focal point. So we'll just kind of start swirling around. Don't worry about it too much. Going to get a little more white, so let's make the center of that a little more white. There we go. Just have fun with it. Go around and around. Add a little more white. I'm going to dip my brush in the water a little bit more. Keep going in that circular pattern. That'll make kind of an interesting background. If it starts looking kind of dry, you can see the canvas through there. Get more paint, get more water so that there's no empty canvas. My red is starting to creep over. I add just a tiny bit of red. Let's kind of add just a little bit of orange interest here. Out here, that would be kind of fun. So it's not quite so boring. Just sort of mix it in. Make sure there's enough water on your brush. Smooth all that out. That's kind of cool. All right, so now we're going to put in this green grass down here. Actually, let's bring this down, the sky down a little farther. The sky is really our big feature here. There we go. So that's kind of a cheerful start. So now we'll put in some green, just a little ways up. We're going to have it come lower in the middle and then kind of rise up on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and use the big brush again. And to make green, we'll be mixing the yellow. Just put a little yellow in the middle with a tiny bit of blue. Don't need very much. And there you've got your green. So I'm going to use my brush going this way, vertically. That'll give us kind of a green, give us kind of a green texture. Go. And when your brush starts sounding dry, get a little more water. Mix a little more yellow, a little more blue. It's kind of nice to have a variety of colors, so in some spots a little more blue, in some spots a little more yellow. Give it some variety. I'm going to just get that bottom part, there we go. Mix a little bit more. That's a little darker, so make sure we get that color sort of distributed. There we go. So that's a good start. Then we'll want to get some stems coming up here for these flowers that we're going to put in. And when you change brushes, get the excess paint off the brush that you were using. Put it in your water. This paint dries really fast, so you don't want your brushes getting ruined by having the paint crusting on in between use. So I'm going to move to my little flat brush, this little guy. Some of this green paint again. Maybe get it a little bit darker. There we go. And then we'll paint about this tall. We'll make a stem about halfway up. Make it kind of nice and curved. And then the grass should go over it. There we go. We'll make a few other stems. Be whimsical about it. There's a few that comes clear up here. Make them a little darker, make them a little lighter, give them some interest, some variety. Again, I'm holding my brush vertical. I don't know if you can see that. Vertical, not like this, but like this. Looks like I need a little more water. We'll kind of change the shape of those here and there too. Some of them kind of push down a little harder and then lift up, and it'll make a little bit of a different shape. Tangle them around, make some different heights. Just kind of have fun and play around with it a little. We'll be adding a few more as we go. leaves onto a couple of them, like that. There you go. It'd be nice to add a few more darks in here. Blend them in a little variety. That's probably good for now. All right, so now we could actually start adding some of the flowers. So we can make a whole variety of colors. We can make some purple, which is red and blue with a little bit of white. We can make pink, we can make yellow. So this is where you get to be a little creative. We'll make a variety of shapes of flowers. Right in the center of our sketch, we have this big fat bee, which we'll put on last. So for now, we'll just focus on the flowers. Let's put in the great big flower first. Let's put in, I'm going to use a little red, a little yellow. Try to get an orange. Need a lot more red, yellow than the red. The red is really powerful, so you have to be careful with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a big circle here for this flower. I'm just turning my brush around to make that. You can choose what color you want to make those petals. I think I'm going to make them, I'll make them mostly maybe white. I don't know if the white is going to be strong enough to overpower that yellow, but we'll see. Might have to put 2 coats on. Be creative with the shape of your petals. You can make really round petals. You can make pointy petals. I might have to put an outline on these petals so they stand out more. This is the flower that I want to put the bee on later. You can see some of my color that from the middle is coming through, but that's kind of nice. It's giving it sort of a shaded look. One more right here. Great big one. And we'll let that dry for a few minutes before we put the bee on it. Let's do a few more flowers. So I shouldn't start. I would advise don't start with the red. Get a little bit of white. Tiny bit of red. Tiny bit of blue, pick a purple color, and let's make a purple flower over here. Actually, let's make a tulip-shaped flower. Just make it nice and simple. Make 3 little pointy tops. There we go. And then you can use your same purple, maybe you add a little more red to get a little bit different color. Do a small tulip down here. Just have fun making a bunch of flowers, make them different sizes. You can use your tiny brush if you want. That'll help making these pointy shapes. You can use a little more red. Make another little tulip flower over here. The red is very powerful, so you gotta handle it judiciously. You kind of put some red on the edge of this one to give it a little more punch. I'll go ahead and use my little brush. Get wet first. That'll help me get these ends a little pointier. I'm going to switch brush. Let's do a little white flower over here. You can barely see the white on this background. Just kind of add a few little petals. They'll look more like flowers if we add a little center there. You could even outline the petals if you want. Let's make a different shape of flowers up here. Actually, I want to add a flower that comes all the way up here. I think that would be kind of cool. Let's make that flower any color you want. I'm gonna make a maybe a red flower up there. All right, let's make a flower here. Maybe another one with great big petals. Add a little white to that. That'll kind of give it some interest. Have fun with your flowers. Try mixing different colors. If you're using a little brush, try using the bigger brush. Starts to show the texture of the canvas under there. You need to use a little more water. Don't use too much or it'll drip. It's pretty good practice to dip your brush in the water and then dab it off on your paper towel a little bit, just to prevent drips. Go, and then let's make a center for that. I'm going to swoosh off that color. I'm going to make a little bit of a purpley color for the center of that, just because it'll be kind of a fun contrast. I'm going to swirl it in a circle again. Let's use that color to add a little bit of red to it. Make a little flower down here. Oh, my brush is kind of messy. What's going on? It's kind of too bland and dark. I'm going to add a little bit of white. Maybe with my little brush. I don't really love using a little brush, but that's because I'm impatient. There's no reason. No real reason. I'm going to put a little white in here for highlights. Some flowers have these little, what are those called? Stamens? Let's put some on that one. That's kind of fun. I feel like this stem needs to be less amorphous. I'm gonna make that a little darker. Water, dab it off. Tulips usually do have these kind of broad, sharp-tipped leaves that come off the sides of them, so I'm still not totally happy with this. I really like the color that turned sort of olive-y colored. I probably had a little bit of orange on my brush still. The stem is thicker than I would like. Probably put, I don't know, let's see, we have orange flower, purple flower, probably we have a pink flower. What color flower should we put here? Actually be kind of fun to put this different kind of flower in there. Sort of little bluebell flowers. Going to extend the stem up a little higher though. This brush isn't cooperating with me anymore, so I'm going to use the little brush. Need a little bit of water here because I want this to flow well. I'm going to bring this stem up here. I want this to be a little bit longer. There we go. All right, now let's make some little white, what are these called? Dewdrops, these type of flowers that kind of hang down like this. This is the problem with this yellow background. We can't see our flowers very well. So I'm going to add a little orange to make this stand out a little better. Almost like upside down tulips. Make them a little smaller as you go down. You could probably put some white highlights on there after it dries a little. Add a few more highlights to this flower. It looks so dark. This flower too. Trying to get a little bit of purple to clarify this flower a little. Switch brushes to blend this a little better. I really like my original color on there, so I'm switching it up some. And down here we'll just put some random little flowers in. You can use your medium brush, your small brush. Might be easier with the small brush. Get some orange. Maybe some reddish. And just sort of dot your little flowers in here. A little sprinkling of flowers. Don't make them all the same color. Hinting at a little wildflower field. And this next little kind of detail you can even do with a Q-tip. Just kind of putting little dots in there, just hinting at other flowers that are in the background. Use some white, use some purple, maybe put a few yellow ones in there, gold, and orange. Just sort of fanciful, so you don't have to be perfect. This looks kind of empty here, so I'm going to put just a few stems there to sort of, okay, the stems, to make them fluid, need quite a bit of water, so don't be shy with your water. Just want a little more. Don't make them all the same length. We want some variety. Maybe we'll add a couple more flowers in here too. Okay, let's put a center in there. Fix up some of these centers so they look more like flowers. There we go. Add some darks in here just for interest. Sometimes I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but I'll just try something. Feel free to just kind of go back and adjust here and there. Let's put the bee in now, that'll be fun. I'm going to switch back to my medium brush. We're going to want the bee to sit about right here. You could sketch the bee in just to kind of make yourself feel better. Use whatever's on your palette to make sort of a light color, and we're going to have the bee's head right here, and then the bee's body will be about that big, and then there's going to be a stripe here and a stripe here, and his wings are going to way out here, one there. The wings now will be kind of transparent, so we'll be able to see the flower a little bit through the wings. So let's make a dark color. Get your blue, get your red, mix kind of a dark purple. You could use a tiny bit of black, but don't go overboard on black. It'll just be too much. And go ahead and put in your bee's head. I'm using the medium brush. I got a little too much paint on there, so I'll just wipe it off. One stripe, this is the other stripe, and then this little fat bottom. I'm gonna get my small brush out for that one because I don't want that to overlap my flower. There we go, and then his wings. I want his wings to not be quite so black because they're kind of transparent. So add a little water, add a little white. lot of water. Let's give this sort of a transparent look, just using our water. Just using water with a little bit of white to make just sort of a pale gray, so we get that transparent effect. Water over the edges if they look too sharp. Actually, I think, yes, this should overlap the flower because the bee is on top of the flower. So there we go. Let's simulate that his black, we can see the black through the wings here. There we go. And we get the feeling that we're seeing through that wing, which is kind of cool. All right, now let's get some really brilliant, as brilliant as we can. Orange, mostly yellow for the bee. Water isn't clean enough. We want a nice clear orange color. I'm running out of space. There we go. Tiny bit of red. The red's very powerful. You don't need very much. Let's try that on the bee's body. Go under the wing, because remember the wings are transparent. I got a little black on my brush, so I gotta be careful. And the head looks a little disconnected from the body to me, so let's fix that. Need a little more water. Start seeing the texture of the canvas. It always means you need a little more water. There we go. You could give the bee kind of a fuzzy appearance by using a stiffer brush and just adding some texture. I have this oil painting brush. Kind of fuzzed out. It's not good for many things anymore, but it might make kind of a fun texture for the bee. Make kind of a dry brush though for this. See if we can get some fuzzy effects. Just kind of dabbing. Kind of fun. All right, now I need a different color for the yellow. Let's give that a fuzzy effect. Need a little more yellow. I got too much red in there. Now we can just sort of add whatever embellishments you think might be fun. I think these flowers up here could use some brightening, maybe put some white in there, give them some white highlights. looks pretty cheerful. I saw a painting once where they just had these kind of fun little, like, I don't even know what they were, just little dots sort of floating up to the sky. That's kind of fun. Add in some more of these little white flowers. Fun little embellishments. Don't really mean anything. I'm going to put some highlights on this flower here, just because I think the sun would be shining down on there. So let's mix up some white. Little brush drives me crazy. It's hard, it doesn't carry much paint. All right, let's put a little highlight on that flower. Put a little highlight on that flower. Same thing. Redo the center of this, make it even brighter. Just kind of shine it on this wing a little. I like to just go back and adjust a little here and there. Let's brighten up this wing a little too. I hope you had fun painting this little thing with me today. It was fun to have you along. It feels like I had some company with me when I'm normally up in my studio by myself. Let me know in the comments if you have questions, if you have requests for different subjects, for different ideas, how your experience went if you painted this too. I'd love to see the pictures if you painted this of how yours turned out. That would be awesome. I can put a list, I'll put in the description some links to some of the materials that I use. It's very simple though. You can buy these acrylic paints. These paints that I use are just really inexpensive, the simplest paints. So you can get them at any department store, you can get them from Amazon, but I'll put some links and you can, so if you want to try. So thanks for spending some time with me. If you try this, have fun. Take care.